Hello, my name is Representative Cheryl Joachim, and I'm the chair of the House Education Policy Committee. I would like to call this hearing of the Committee of Education Policy to order. We have several housekeeping items to get through first, but primarily the item on our agenda today is House File 2383, which is the bill of Representative Sandstede. The intention of the chair is to vote and move that bill to the general registry. I would first like to take a few minutes to review some of the procedures for the public and members. In order to preserve sound quality, it would be important for those not speaking to keep their microphones muted. Right now during presentation, staff will have all the microphones muted, but once we go to voting, we'll unmute those. So you can, once we unmute them, you can still put mute on yourself until it gets to your name. And to confirm, all committee discussion will continue through the chair as always. I've got to make sure I put up our participant screen. So please either use the raise hand feature in Zoom if you'd like to speak. If you're dialing in, you can press *9, or if you're having trouble, just email Ms. Fritz or Ms. Ariola, our committee staff. A reminder that the packets members received via email are also available for the public on our House Committee website, and they include the meeting agenda, the minutes from April 8th, the House Research Summary for House File 2383, the bill text, which is the first engrossment, and a one-pager summary from the House, from the Office of the School Trust Land. For the public, if you would like to submit a written comment or question, please email to edpolicy, POLICY, at house, HOUSE.MN. That's edpolicy@house.mn. And please put in the subject line that you have a comment for committee. So members, are there any other quick questions before we go to take the roll? Not seeing any hands. Ms. Ariola, will you please take the roll?
Chair Joachim.
Present.
Representative Kanesh Padin.
Present.
Representative Erickson.
Present.
Representative Barr.
Present.
Representative Baker. Representative Bennett.
Present.
Representative Bierman.
Present.
Representative Christensen.
Present.
Representative Grunhagen. Representative Hassan. Representative Herr.
Present.
Representative Jordan.
Present.
Representative Mariani. Representative Moeller.
Present.
Representative Sandell.
Present.
Representative Scott.
Here.
Representative Erdahl.
Here.
Representative Wozlowick.
Present.
Ms. Ariola, do we have a quorum?
I apologize. A quorum is present.
Thank you. We have a quorum present. Ms. Ariola, go ahead and mute everybody. Our next item of business is adopting the minutes from Wednesday, April 8th. A copy of the minutes were in your virtual packet, and we'll be doing this by a voice vote. Representative Christensen. Representative Christensen moved to adopt the minutes from April 8th.
So moved.
Representative Christensen moved to adopt the minutes for April 8th. Are there any questions on the minutes? Seeing no questions on the minutes, we'll unmute the microphones. And is everybody approved the minutes? Those saying approve, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes have been approved. Next, we will go on to the rest of the agenda. And as I said before, this is House File 2383 of Representative Sandstede. Representative Sandstede, Representative Kanesh Padin, would you like to move House File 2383 before the committee?
Yes, I would like to move House File 2383 for consideration in the committee.
Thank you. Representative Kunesh-Podein moves House File 2383 for consideration and then move to the general registry. All those in favor? Oh, let's see here. Do we have to take a vote on that? A little out of practice.
Madam Chair, no, I think we can proceed with testimony and take the vote at the end.
I thought so. So Representative Sandstede, would you like to proceed, start with your testimony? I understand that you have one testifier here with us today as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Before you, you have House File 2383. This is a bill that clarifies some technical items regarding the position of the School Trust Lands Director. This position was established in 2012 to provide recommendations to both the executive and the legislative branches about the management of the school trust lands. After a couple of years of discussions about the appropriate responsibilities of this role, this is the Peace in the Valley solution to make overdue updates. Most significantly, this bill increases transparency by recognizing the duties regarding the director's advice and recommendations requirements, reporting requirements, and other key duties. It requires that they submit an annual budget as well as a plan with legislative recommendations for review to the Permanent School Trust Lands Commission. It provides clarity by requiring the director to act in a fiduciary capacity for school trust land beneficiaries. It provides uniformity and consistency with other executive branch appointees. Finally, this bill provides flexibility by reducing restrictions to the director's ability to hire and retain employees. There are no fiscal impacts in this bill. Last year's special session omnibus environmental and natural resource bill had a provision from this bill's original version, which modifies a prior appropriation for the school trust lands director to use the money to complete a 25-year framework for managing school trust lands and extending the availability of the funds, which had been set to expire June 30th of last year. And with me today, I do have the director of our school trust lands, Erin Vande.
Thank you, Representative Sandstede. Mr. Vande, will you please state your name for the record and then go ahead and proceed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Erin Vande, School Trust Lands Director. And I just want to offer my thanks for giving me an opportunity to testify here remotely today. I can jokingly say this is the first time I've worn a tie in a month, a little over a month probably. But I appreciate the work of the Representative Sandstede and the members of the Permanent School Fund Commission on helping me make these changes to the School Trust Lands Director statute. I was appointed in September 2015 by Governor Dayton to this position. I've worked on everything that's in that statute since that time. We've made considerable progress, but there are a few things that needed to be clarified. I can walk through the bill line by line if you want, or I can just talk generally about it. I'm not sure what the chair's preference is.
If you just want to, thank you, Mr. Linde and Linde. If you just want to talk about each of the sections, that would be fine.
Sure. So let me pull it up here real quick. Where did it go? So there were no changes in section 1. Section 2, really what we were looking to do is, and this was based on a comment that we received last year in an informational hearing in House Environment Policy from Representative Wagenius, and it's on line 1.15. She indicated that she didn't think it was appropriate that the School Trust Lands Director was the only member of the executive branch that had to take an oath of office. So we modified that and added in that made it clear that the director had to act in a fiduciary responsibility for the school trust beneficiaries, which are the 865,000 students in the state. The next part of the changes in section 2, really from lines 1.19 to 2. Well, I guess it would be, 2.18. Really just we were trying to break out the different roles that we had to the different entities, whether it was executive branch or legislative branch entity, so that it was clear what roles we had for each of those entities. There is one addition in there. It's in line 2.3. We added in that we would be providing advice and recommendations to not only the executive council, but also the land exchange board, because there are a number of land exchanges that involve school trust lands. Biggest one on our plate right now is the Boundary Waters Land Exchange. Did not add any duties other than that in that section. If you look at line 2.13, that's actually just been moved up from another section in the bill. It's not a new duty. And bringing in the temporary trustee for other school trust land exchanges was identified in another statute. We wanted to make sure that all of the duties were in this section 127A 353. Moving down, there's really not many other changes. I would point out in line 3.7, I have asked that, and the Permanent School Fund Commission agreed with this, that the employees be moved from unclassified service to classified service, and there would not be a limit on how many employees that the director could hire. I can tell you, including myself right now, there are 2.5 FTEs in the school trust office. I'm very frugal with the appropriations that I do receive, so I don't have any intention to hire a lot of staff, and as you can see, it'd be limited to the appropriations that are made anyways. But moving from unclassified to classified service, it's more of a human resources administrative issue for the school trust office. My staff can only serve 3-year terms, and that's what we've been told by the human resources department. So right now I have them extended until my first term is up on December 31st of 2020, and their terms would end at the same time unless they were moved to classified service. Moving into classified service, if I were not reappointed by Governor Walz, which I am hoping to be, I really enjoy the work that I do, it would provide some continuity in the office with staff that have been working on a number of large projects since 2015 and 16. So that we could maintain the progress that we've made so far.
Thank you, Mr. Van Linde. I just want to welcome Representative Hassan to the meeting. And then members, are there any questions about either for Mr. Van Linde or Representative Sandstede? I'll give it a minute here. I see Representative Sandell. You have a question.
Mr. Vanilli, I have a question about the Legislative Permanent School Fund Commission. Who's on that, and do you appoint that, or does the governor appoint those people?
Mr. Van Linde?
Line 2.17.
Mr. Van Linde, was that? Would you be able to answer that?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. And Representative Sandell, members, the Legislative Permanent School Fund Commission is a bipartisan commission that was created in 2012 at the same time the school trust director's position was created. It's actually the successor to the Permanent School Fund Advisory Committee that used to be in existence. The members are 6 House members, 3 from the majority, 3 from the minority, and 6 Senate members, 3 from the majority, 3 from the minority as well. If you ask me to list them all off, I'll probably forget a few, but our chair right now is Senator Jerry Newton. Our vice chair is Representative Dale Lewick. We have three members of the commission on the call today, Representative Sandstede, Representative Kunesh-Podein, and Representative Christensen. Also in the House, we have Representative Swedzinski and Representative O'Driscoll. In the Senate side, Senator Kerry Rude, Senator Eric Pratt, Senator Justin Eichhorn in the majority, and then Senator Newton, Senator Clausen, and who am I forgetting? Forgetting somebody. Senator Hoffman, my senator, of all the ones to forget, my senator. So Senator Hoffman. So those are the members of the Permanent School Fund Commission. They are appointed by the, I believe, by the President of the Senate and by the House, Speaker of the House.
Representative Sandell, did you have a follow-up?
Thank you. That's all for now. Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions? Ms. Fritz, have we received any questions from the public?
Madam Chair, no, we have not.
Well, with that, members, Representative Sandstede, you have the final word.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, thank you for the opportunity to bring this bill before you, and I ask for your support.
All right, members, I renew the motion that House File 2383 be recommended for placement on the General Registry. Ms. Ariola will unmute the microphones and take the roll.
Joachim,
Yes.
Representative Kunesh-Podein,
Yes.
Representative Erickson,
Aye.
Representative Barr,
Aye.
Representative Baker, Representative Bennett,
Aye.
Representative Bierman,
Aye.
Representative Christensen,
Aye.
Representative Greenhagen, Representative Hassan,
Yes.
Representative Herr,
Aye.
Representative Jordan,
Aye.
Representative Mariani, Representative Moeller,
Aye.
Representative Sandell,
Aye.
Representative Scott,
Aye.
Representative Erdahl,
Aye.
Representative Wozlowick,
Aye.
15 ayes, 0 nays.
Members, there being 15 ayes and 0 nays, House File 2383 is recommended for placement on the General Registry. Well, thank you, everyone. I think that ends our agenda right now. I want to give you a heads up that we'll be having a meeting next Tuesday during our regular committee time. So that's Tuesday, April 28th at 2:30. We'll be posting that agenda soon. And then also the following week, we will probably be having 2 committee hearings, but we're still working through that. Is there any questions from members before we close out? Then seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.